All these black aboriginals are really self-hating African Americans who wish to connect to Native American history rather than with their West African origins. I call out the research guy to prove otherwise. He has literally no evidence other than superficial similarities, revisionist racialism, and pseudo-sources. He and the Aboriginals have yet to give us the names of their tribes, their languages, and show us examples of their cultures and their evolution in the Americas. They have no history to reconstruct because they never existed. It was Eurocentrists who first began to culture vulture on Native America. They claimed ancient remains such as Kennewick Man, which was debunked by the peer-reviewed studies of DNA and dental traits. The studies revealed that Kennewick Man is Native American. Following in the footsteps of Eurocentrists, these Afrocentric pretendians have picked up the mantle. This is all indigenous erasure. Black Americans are part of the black diaspora. They are direct descendants of West African slaves brought to the Americas. They are part of a history of Africa that rivals any in the world. They come from a history that is real. They come from beautiful Sub-Saharan African cultures. Black Americans have made many contributions to the United States, and they fought hard to overcome slavery. There is no need for any black American to culture vulture on Native America to build pride in themselves.
Dear Research Guy, you and your wannabe Aboriginals have no DNA evidence, no evidence of dental traits, or any peer-reviewed archaeological evidence. All you have to offer is old outdated pseudo-sources from various pseudo-scientists and pseudo-historians, of whom are all outdated. These pseudo-historians and pseudo-scientists of the old colonial past have often relied on misclassifications of racial groups involving racist eugenics. All you wannabe Aboriginals have no living authentic indigenous cultures. You have no indigenous languages. No living tribes and nations. You have no indigenous history. You're all just creations of your wild imaginations.
Nuff said. Now let's pay tribute to both Sub-Saharan African cultures and indigenous American cultures. Thanks for watching.
It is another world, thriving with 100 million people, connected by elaborate roads, bridges, and social networks spanning continents, with monumental cities aligned to the heavens, and some of the greatest civilizations on Earth. This is America more than 500 years ago. Native Americans create America's first democracy that later inspires the United States Constitution. Shape Mississippi swampland into the largest pyramids on the planet. Carve Andean mountain slopes into fields that feed millions. And domesticate plants that now provide 60% of the world's food. They elevate America's natural beauty into spiritual beliefs that echo across 10,000 years. And dig deep into those beliefs to survive the worst loss of life from disease and genocidal warfare in history.
We are not dead. We're often referred to in the history books in the past tense. But here we are in the present, and we're going full force. You know, we're still here.
The Inca traditions, the Inca knowledge has never disappeared. It's still alive. It's not a religion, it's a way of life.
When I come out onto the water, there's a connection to my ancestors, a relationship that goes through my blood and my veins.
As a Comanche woman, this just completes me because all of my relatives were here. They probably prayed for us and prayed that someday we would be here and our culture would continue.
The people that have lived here have understood this place, and this knowledge has been accumulated over thousands of years. The past is also part of the present.
This is a new vision of America and the people who built it. This is Native America.
Africa, where the human race began. Nearly 1 billion people live here. And it's a continent with an incredible diversity of communities and cultures. Yet we know less of its history than almost anywhere else on Earth. But that's beginning to change. In the last few decades, researchers and archaeologists have begun to uncover a range of histories as impressive and extraordinary as anywhere else on Earth. It's a history which has been neglected for years, and it's largely without written records. But it is preserved for us in the gold and statues, in the culture, art, and legends of the people. My name is Gus Casely-Hayford. Over many years, I've studied the history and culture of Africa. As an art historian, I'm used to drawing stories from mute objects from the past. I'm going to discover the history and find out what really happened to the lost kingdoms of Africa. I'm beginning my search in the far north of the continent, in what is now known as the Sudan. I'm looking for the legendary kingdom of Nubia. Nubia is the traditional name for the northern part of Sudan, near the Egyptian border. For thousands of years, a civilization dominated the area there, in what's now the Eastern Sahara. It's first mentioned by the ancient Egyptians as a primitive outpost, a source of slaves and treasure, dancing girls and wrestlers. To the Romans too, it was a barbarian wasteland. Yet these people were conquerors in their own right, ultimately defeated not by their rivals, but by their environment. Nubia has left us some of the most spectacular monuments, not only in Africa, but in the whole world. There are more pyramids here than there are in Egypt. This was a major civilization, but its history is barely remembered. So what was Nubia actually like? How powerful was it? And what happened to it in the end?